feel like John Millea is always busy, but he might be at his busiest this time of the year. We're going to get to John's busy schedule, all the state tournament stuff. We're going to give you some coaching news. As always, we're going to thank a ref and John's most valuable teammate of the week. This is Preps Today with John Millea, the prep and sports and activities guru at MSHSL.org. You can find his written work at John's Journal. At that site, you can find his spoken word artistry. Here, we want to let you know we're coming from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We want to thank our longtime sponsor, Pizza Barn in Princeton, among some other, and also Beta Bay Boat Club. So, John, just how busy are you right now?
Yeah, Jim, it's hectic. This is really unique in the spring, especially in the winter when we have a ton of, 6 or 7 different state tournaments. Usually it's one at a time. Each week we'll have a tournament. Next week, different tournament. Right now, today we're talking on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've got 3 state tournaments going at the same time. Softball in Mankato, tennis here in the Twin Cities. Track is Thursday, Friday, Saturday at St. Michael, Albertville. So it's a hectic, different kind of animal. Next week, it'll be golf, lacrosse, and baseball, kind of the same deal. So it's hectic. It's busy. I'm looking at schedules. I'm looking at calendars. I think I'm going to be at softball on Thursday. I'm going to be at tennis today, Wednesday. When we're done here, I'm going to head to Baseline Tennis Center. Saturday, I know I'll be at track. Friday, I could be at track, softball, or tennis. So I'm unsure about Friday. So we'll see what happens before then. It's a juggling act, clearly. It's not rocket science, but it's a little bit of time on the road, which is fine, and just watching kids compete in teams, and it's just so much fun.
He's John Millea from the MSHSL. He has been working in this market for a long time. We're former colleagues. He's covered everything. He decided to dedicate himself to high school sports and has done incredible work in that realm. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune. Thanks to our producers at TalkNorth.com. Best way to listen to this show or any show you like, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. And we do appreciate you listening. All right. So what else?
Let me go through some details on these tournaments this week, Jim. I'll kind of sum up each one. So we got boys state tennis through Friday, Class 2As at Baseline Tennis Center at the U of M, Class A at the Inner City Tennis Center in South Minneapolis. The first 2 days are team competitions, and then Thursday and Friday, singles and doubles. We're really lucky in Minnesota to have great indoor facilities like these. I see social media posts from other states. Tennis is not generally an indoor state tournament around the country, and here we don't have to worry about the weather. We know what that can do. And then, as I said, girls softball state tournament is Wednesday through Friday, Caswell Park in North Mankato. And this tournament has a new twist this year. It's been expanded from 2 days to 3 days, which has advantages. Teams now will just play 1 game per day. Previously, they played 2 usually. And if there's any weather disruptions, which I don't think we're going to have this week, that just allows more flexibility with an extra day. And speaking of softball, there's a great guest submission on John's Journal people could read right now. My friend Jared Rubedo is the sports editor of the Bemidji Pioneer. He's a very talented young man, hardworking journalist, really good at his job. He wrote about a softball player from North Home Kelleher. Her name is Wabi Wagner. She's deaf. She's a third baseman. She and her team are playing at state for the first time in school history. She's going to play college softball at Minnesota Morris. She's a heck of a player, despite being hearing impaired. So if you want to go to John's Journal at MSHSL.org, Jared's story is definitely worth your time. He let me know ahead of time he was doing this story. He texted me and said, basically, hey, John, I learned about this story, and it seems like it's right up your alley. I'm going to post mine, and if you want to follow up at state, that'd really be cool. I read his story, and I just put the white flag up. I can't do better than what Jared wrote. It's a fabulous story. So the Bemidji Pioneer allowed me to repost that with his photos too. That's great. State track and field Thursday, Friday, Saturday at St. Michael, Albertville. That's always fun. And if people can't make it out to these, if you can watch most of these tournaments online, streamed by NSPN.TV. MSHSL. That's the official streaming partner of the high school league. And so I'm getting gas in the car and stocking up on sunflower seeds, maybe some fresh sunscreen. We'll be ready to go. And speaking of state tournaments, we had news this week from the high school league board of directors. They changed the seeding formula for state tournaments in girls and boys basketball and hockey. From this day forward, those state tournaments will have the teams seeded 1 through 8. As everybody who follows this knows, for a long time, the process has been the coaches of the state tournament teams do electronic seeding, and number 1 through 5 are identified, and then 6, 7, 8 are drawn out of a hat for their matchups. So volleyball had already been approved for seeding 1 through 8. The other sports are going to do it. Football has a similar system coming up this fall. So there's a lot going on. It is hectic. It's tournament time, but boy, the weather looks really good for the rest of the week.
And no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Let's hear about our friends at Pizza Barn in Princeton.
Yeah, great stuff going on. It's June. I looked at the calendar. It's June, Jim. I can't believe it, but here we are. And the June pizza of the month, the Pizza Barn, this is a pretty cool deal. Tells you a lot about Jody Stay and the people at the Pizza Barn. They work with other businesses to produce great products. They've partnered with Big Boar Barbecue Company from Hanover, Minnesota, to create the June pizza of the month. It's the Big Boar Bourbon Pizza. I don't think they named it after me with the first 2 words of that, Big Boar, but I'll take that. They start it with the Pizza Barn's famous homemade crust. They add Big Boar bourbon sauce, burnt ends, brisket. I'm a big brisket guy.
Yes.
Nothing better than brisket on a pizza too, man. Flash fried Brussels sprouts. They top it with freshly shredded mozzarella, bacon crumbles. Get that for dine-in, takeout, take and bake, or delivery. The Pizza Barn food trucks, they're getting busier all the time. This week is no exception. Earlier this week on Tuesday, one of the trucks was at Clear Springs Elementary in Minnetonka. The other one at the Hastings Summer Kickoff. Thursday, they'll be at the Rum River Festival Parade in downtown Princeton, as well as Sartell Summer Fest. Friday at Princeton Speedway. And the food trucks are busy with private events, too. I'm guessing at this time of year, probably some graduation parties in there. And if you'd like to get one of those food trucks to your spot, go to pizzabarnprinceton.com. There's information there for booking. They'll take you all the way through the process. And again, thanks to our buddy Jody Stay, everybody at the Pizza Barn for doing everything they do.
Thanks very much to Jody. Again, we're coming to from the Aquarius Home Services Studios, and we want you to know more about Beta Bay Boat Club. Great time of the year to get into boating or revive your boating Jones.
Beta Bay Boat Club offers a limited number of season-long memberships in our private club and half-day or full-day pontoon boat rentals on Lake Minnetonka. Members have the opportunity to play on luxurious pontoon boats as well as a variety of well-appointed deck boats, speedboats, and offshore boats. Our daily pontoon boats are deluxe, custom-built boats with many amenities and comfortable seating for up to 14 people. Beta Bay Boat Club, Country Club Boating, 24 years in business and voted Minnesota's best 3 years in a row. Please visit us at betabayboatclub.com for more information. We look forward to welcoming you this summer.
All right, John, what do we have next? Coaching news?
Let's catch up to a few stories,
Okay.
Jim. We had the week off last week, so I'm
Yeah.
just going to go back through a couple of John's Journal stories here. I've kind of been focused on track and field more than anything in the last couple of weeks because, and I'm a track guy. That's no secret. It's unlike any other sport because you've got 18 different events. It's such a diversity of skill in track and field. It's just filled with great stories. I ventured down to Southeast Minnesota last week to write about the 2 best male high jumpers in the state. This is pretty unique. They're both from really small schools in that part, both Class A kids. Pierce Peterson, he's a sophomore from Triton. He's already cleared 6'10" this season. And then Sam Snitker is a senior from Grand Meadow, Leroy Ostrander, Kingsland, Southland. That's how small these schools are. You got to have 4 schools come together to make a track team. So Pierce has gone 6'10". Sam has cleared 6'8". The state record is 7'1". So especially Pierce seems to have a chance to reach that height. He's only a sophomore. I wrote about those two. They're friends. They're competitors. It's amazing to watch them jump. I watched them at their section meet at Triton. I'll watch them again this week at St. Michael Albertville at State. I also posted a story about somebody we've talked about, Jim, somebody you've talked about, Gerard Hughes from Irondale. He's the number one track athlete in the state right now. He holds the state record in the long jump. This year he has the best times in the state in the 102 meters. Got a strong shot to be a triple gold medalist at state this week, and there'll be a lot of eyes on that young man. He's quite an athlete. And then he kind of gets going nationally. About a week later, he'll be in Eugene, Oregon for the Nike Nationals. And if all goes really well, he could qualify for the Olympic trials also in Eugene the week after the Nike Nationals. His goal, and I'm not going to say it's not realistic, it's a long shot. He wants to be long jumping at the Paris Olympics this summer, and he's got to extend his PR by more than a foot. And I'm not saying he can't do it. In these sports, you see that happen, whether it's a pole vaulter or a thrower or a jumper. Just all of a sudden, one day they explode. But if he doesn't make it to Paris this summer, I would guess he'd have a great shot in 4 years when the Olympics are in LA. He's going to be a college athlete at Arkansas. With kind of an interesting twist, one of the assistant coaches at Irondale, after the story came out, I was at the section finals last week at Forest Lake watching Gerard. One of the coaches said that he didn't even know that until he read my story that Gerard, yes, he will be a track athlete at Arkansas, but in his sophomore year, he's planning to walk on the football team because he's a heck of a football player. The track coaches, the football coaches, they were fine with that. Football coaches said, yeah, we'll give you a chance. You walk on. And so he's going to be busy, but right now he's focused on the state track meet. So good luck to Gerard. And then I went down to New Prague over the week we were off here for a baseball story that was really emotional. The Trojans are the defending state champs in Class 3A baseball. Everything went upside down when the father of one of the players passed away after a pretty long battle with cancer. Colonel Jacob Helgestad, he was a career military guy. He was only 51 when he died on May 17th, and his son Sam is a senior on the New Prague baseball team, also plays football. And what really kind of caught my eye when I realized that the baseball coach at New Prague is Tanner Oaks. And people who follow Gophers baseball remember his dad, Todd Oaks, a longtime pitching coach for the Gophers. He was 55 when he died in 2016 after fighting leukemia. So there's some similarities there. And it's interesting. Before his dad died, Sam told me he had hit one career home run in his life, but the first game after his dad passed away, before the funeral, he hit a home run, and then he hit another one in the next game. And they're on a good playoff run. They didn't have a stellar regular season, but as we speak right now, they need one win to get back to the state tournament, which would add another really cool chapter to that story. So that kind of catches us up on what John's Journal has been up to. And I can move into some coaching news here, some brief coaching items.
Go right ahead.
Up at Sartell, boys swimming and diving coach Jason Anderson has announced he's retiring after 33 years. That's a great run. His teams have won 10 conference titles, 11 section championships, a dozen true team section titles. Congrats to Jason. Congrats to Kent Christian, the softball coach at Badger Greenbush Middle River. He recorded his 500th career win. That's a massive number in softball. And Bloomington Kennedy has announced a new head boys basketball coach. It's a familiar name if you've been around here long enough. Troy Bell. He was a superstar at Holy Angels. He was an All-American at Boston College. Had a brief NBA career, played overseas for a decade or so. So good luck to the Kennedy Eagles and new boys basketball coach Troy Bell.
Congratulations, Troy. Now let's get to a couple of our set pieces that I love John includes on the show. Let's thank a ref.
Yeah, we're going to thank some baseball umpires today. I don't know the identities of these officials, but this was a unique thing. We've had a lot of rain on and off this spring. It hasn't been a bad spring, but there have been a lot of juggling of schedules. A section baseball game between Woodbury and Cretin-Durham Hall. They had to get these games in because you've got a bracket. You got to get these games played. This game had to be moved to 9 a.m. First pitch at 9 a.m. How do you do that without umpires? Well, you don't. So I don't know who the umpires were, but somebody stepped up, couple of umpires stepped up, said, yeah, I can be there at 9 a.m. This happens a lot. We don't hear about it all the time, but this time we did. So let's thank all of the officials in all the sports and all the activities for all their dedication.
Yes, thanks to all of them as always. Now, another one of our favorite set pieces with John, this week's most valuable teammate.
Yeah, this is a good one. Brady McPherson. He's a 3-sport athlete from Orono High School. He participates in football, wrestling, and baseball. He excels in sports, in the classroom, and as a leader and a teammate. Brady's character always leads the way. He's earned recognition as a scholar athlete, as well as team captain in multiple sports. He's also involved in things like National Honor Society and the Orono Unified Program. Brady has qualified for state tournaments in football and wrestling. He's genuine. He's positive. He truly models what they call at Orono the Spartan way. So congrats to Brady McPherson on being named a most valuable teammate.
Excellent stuff as always, John. Thanks to everyone who listens. Again, we have great sports, great outdoors at talknorth.com. Find a show you like, subscribe to it. Any final thoughts for us today, John?
Sometimes, Jim, at this time of the year, we got that eye on the sky. I've been at some of these tournaments. I've been at softball when absolutely torrential rain and winds have arrived. I've been at the track meet when it's 94 degrees and sticky and everybody's, guzzling water looking for shade. I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. The weather forecast looks excellent. Everybody involved with these tournaments, these outdoor tournaments, is always watching the weather. And I think we're really going to have a fun time here the rest of the week. I'm really excited about this.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing about all the developments next week here at Preps Today with John Millea. Again, thanks for listening to Preps Today with John Millea. Thanks for listening to TalkNorth.com, and we'll talk to you next week.